All right, let's talk about one of the most important things you'll ever do on a CNC mill, setting your tool offsets. This is a fundamental skill, and we're going to break it down step by step.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at why we even need to do this. Then, what offsets actually are. After that, we'll prep the machine and get into the nitty-gritty of setting both the length and the diameter. Let's get to it.
All right, first things first, let's really dig into the core problem that we're trying to solve here.
You know, a CNC machine is this marvel of precision, right? It can move to within 10,000ths of an inch. But here's the catch. It's kind of dumb. It knows exactly where its spindle is, but it has absolutely no idea how long the tool sticking out of it is. It's totally blind to it. And that is the core problem we have to fix.
And look at this. It perfectly shows what I'm talking about. Every single tool you put in there is going to be a different length. An end mill, a spot drill, a tap, they're all unique. If the machine assumes they're all the same, well, you're either going to be cutting air, which is a waste of time, or you're going to smash that tool right into your part. Not good. So, the big question is, how do we solve this? How do we tell the machine exactly where that tool tip is? Well, that's where tool offsets come into play. It's literally the language we use to talk to the machine. Okay, so let's break down the tool length offset. You'll see it in G-code as G43. Really, all it is a correction number. It's you telling the machine, hey, I know your default home position is way up in the sky, but for this specific tool, our starting line, our Z0, is right here on top of the workpiece.
And this picture makes it super clear. See that machine home? That's the machine's reference point. But your part is way down on the table. That gap, that distance from home down to the top of your part, that is the tool length offset. It's the exact number the machine needs to know to travel precisely to the starting point.
So where do you actually put this magic number? Right here. On the control, you hit the Offset button, and it brings up this table. This is basically your command center for all things tool-related.
The table itself is pretty straightforward. You've got your tool number, or T. Then you have H for the length offset think height, and D for the diameter offset. Now here's the part you absolutely cannot forget. The numbers have to match. If you're using Tool 1, you must use H1 and D1. Tool 2 uses H2 and D2. Get that mixed up, and you're going to have a really bad day.
Okay, theory's over. Let's get our hands dirty and actually do this. But wait, before we start punching in new numbers for our job, we have to do something really important. We have to wipe out all the old offsets from the last job. This isn't optional. It's a huge safety step.
And you have to follow this procedure exactly. No shortcuts. Think about it like you're clearing the machine's short-term memory. If there's some random number left over from the last guy's setup, the machine could make a move you're not expecting. So we always start fresh.
It all kicks off right here with the Origin button.
Pressing that brings up a menu, and you're just going to use the arrow keys to go down and select Clear Tool Offsets.
Then you hit Enter. Now, the machine is going to ask you, are you sure? Which is a good thing. It's a little safety net to make sure you don't accidentally delete your offsets mid-job. So you just hit Y for yes to confirm.
And boom, just like that, it's all gone. Take a look. All the H and D values are back to 0. Perfect. We've got a totally clean slate ready for our new setup.
All right, now for the fun part, actually measuring and setting the tool lengths. And we're going to use a super simple but incredibly effective old-school method called the paper trick. This is a technique that's all about feel, not sight. You're using a simple piece of paper as a feeler gauge, and believe it or not, it's amazingly accurate for finding that perfect Z0 on your part. So you'll grab the jog handle and start bringing the tool down, super slow. We're talking tiny increments, like a thou at a time. And while you're doing that, you're constantly sliding a piece of paper back and forth under the tooltip. What you're waiting for is that moment where you feel just the slightest bit of drag on the paper. Not a pinch, just a little resistance. The second you feel that drag, stop. Don't move another inch. That's your 0. Then all you do is press this one button, Tool Offset Measure. The machine does all the math for you. It automatically figures out the distance and pops that number right into the offset table. It's awesome. Then you hit Next Tool, and you just do the same thing for every tool in the machine.
Okay, we've got our lengths dialed in. Last piece of the puzzle, the diameter. And trust me, this is every bit as important as the length, especially when you need to mill pockets or slots to a precise size. And you really need to focus here, because getting the diameter wrong isn't just about accuracy, it's about safety. Imagine your program thinks it's cutting with a tiny quarter-inch end mill, but you actually put a big half-inch one in the spindle. The machine is going to try to bury that big tool into a path that's way too small. You're going to break the tool, you're going to scrap the part, and you could even damage the machine.
The good news is, setting it is super easy. You just go back to that same offset page, use the arrows to move over to the D column for the right tool, and just type in the diameter of your tool.
So here, you can see someone's put in 0.3750 for a 3/8 end mill. Now, once you hit enter, you have one more job to do. I mean it. Always, always, always double check that the number on the screen matches the tool in your hand. Do not press cycle start until you have verified it.
You know, this quote really hits the nail on the head. Learning how to set your offsets is the line in the sand. It's when you stop just pushing buttons and you start becoming a real machinist. You're the one in control now. You're telling this powerful, precise machine exactly what to do. So, now that you have that power, what amazing thing are you going to make first?